Hello, my name is April and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio and welcome to your practice. Our practice today, we're working with elemental Yin Yoga. We've been working our way through the elements. There are 5 in all. We started with wood, moved to fire, and now we're on earth. So our earth practice today is focused on the spleen and stomach meridians, those meridians most closely associated with late summer and with the earth element. So melding traditional Chinese medicine and 5 element theory together in this practice. Couple of things that you will need for this practice if you would be more comfortable with a blanket or a beach towel underneath, or if you're on a softer floor, that works as well, but this is optional. And this we do need is a rolled up blanket or a beach towel, so we can use it for our first couple of poses. So starting right now, we're just going to start with our hands, palms down on our knees. Sit up nice and tall, close your eyes, take a few breaths. And with those breaths, bring to mind your feelings toward late summer. Maybe thinking of sunflowers and late summer blooms. Everything's a little bit warmer. That last bit of summer right before the fall starts, right before the official harvest. Everything's at its peak of growth. For a lot of people, this is a very kind of soft, summery time, very relaxed, very laid back. Connecting to your image, your visual image of late summer for you. And here connecting to the earth, the element of earth, grounding, stability. Settling in to the late summer before the fall. Gently opening your eyes for our first pose. So take your rolled blanket or beach towel across about 1/3 of your mat. So toward the top third. You're going to lay yourself down. Kind of just roll the shoulders down where the shoulders barely grace the floor. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Take the arms out to the side, elbows bent. Take a few breaths here. So the spleen and stomach meridians, very important in helping your digestion and your immune system at the same time. They run the inside of the leg right above the liver meridian toward the top or closer to the kneecap. All the way up into the abdomen, up through the chest, up into the neck, stomach. So a lot of opening in this front side of the body, top side of the legs, inside of the legs, opening of the torso, the neck. Here, settle into your breath, keeping in mind that image of late summer for you, what it feels like for late summer. I feel like this makes perfect sense to match earth and late summer together because it's when the pre-harvest time is. Everything's in peak fulfillment of growth. The corn, all the sunflowers, all the plants, right before that moment of harvest. The top of the growth cycle. The earth's at its richest. Breathing into the belly, chest, collarbone, settling into your 3-part breath. Beginning to smooth that breath out. perhaps beginning to extend your exhale a little bit longer in a sinking breath to help soften and release everything. Connecting to the earth, connecting to grounding. Taking your last few breaths here. Go ahead and reach down with your hands, bring those knees together. Start to take those legs out straight, just for a few breaths here. Then bending your knees, bringing your feet flat. You're going to press through those feet, lift your hips very carefully and slowly. You're going to slide that blanket roll down underneath your hips, so right underneath your sacrum, supporting your hips. Adjust it so it's comfortable here. And start to slide that left heel out so the toes are up, heel is down. You can stay right here, or you can begin to bring that right knee into your chest. Take your hands behind the right hamstring, behind the knee, and pull that in a little bit closer. Softening your feet. Taking about 5 more deep breaths here. Softening right and left. Feeling the opening down the front of that left hip flexor up into the belly. Maybe a little bit to the inside of the leg. Gently release that right foot down to the floor. Slowly start to move that left foot flat, knee up. You're going to switch sides here, so start to slide that right leg out, toes up, heel down. Here again, you could stay right here. Maybe this side it feels better to do that, or maybe it's okay to reach behind, interlace the fingers behind that left leg. Pull it in a little bit more. letting your hips really be supported by that blanket and sinking into it. Gently begin to release your hold on that left leg. Bring that foot flat. Slowly pull that right leg in, knees toward the ceiling. You're going to press through your feet. Shift the hips up and lift that blanket out to the side. Come all the way down. Take a couple of breaths here, maybe dropping the knees together. And then gently rolling over to your right side. Come on to hands and knees for child's pose. So we're going to take a little bit closer child's pose, maybe not as wide as we normally would. And if you feel more comfortable, you can even take them closer, but just a little bit of space for yourself here. Taking the hands on top of one another, resting your forehead on the backs of the hands. Settling into your breath again here, checking in. Feeling how that front side of the hips or hip flexors feels after the opening and now closing that space. Allowing your exhale to extend a little bit longer with each breath. Just a few more deep breaths here. Letting everything slow down, just like late summer, where it feels like time just sort of stands still. It moves super slow. You've gotten all the I want to do this summer stuff done, and now it's just sort of hanging out in a hammock, taking long walks, sitting out in the sun or reading a book. Slow everything down. Gently lift your head, start to come up. Go ahead and take your same position here, but you're going to bring the knees a little bit closer together. You're going to bring the feet just a little bit on either side of the hips. So we're not going to take a full saddle or hero pose here. We're just going to start to walk the hands back. Now, if this is where you can go, this is where you can go. If you want to come down a little bit lower, you can. Just about a minute here. And sense where you feel this, inside of the leg or top side of the leg, chest, belly. And then gently, wherever you are, pressing yourself back up to center. Taking that blanket that you rolled up earlier, and you're going to just fold it a few times to use as a knee prop. Now, even for people who don't have knee issues, I still recommend this for dragon poses, simply because you're holding these poses for quite a bit longer and there is some compression on the knee. Come onto the blanket, come up nice and high. We're going to take that right foot out in front first. So start to walk that foot forward, take your hands down on either side. You're going to lift that back knee up and kind of walk it back a little bit further, and then drag that knee towards you. You can keep the toes flipped or flat. We're going to come all the way up. So take that right hand on the thigh, left hand on the thigh, nice and tall here. If this is always too much, you can always take the hands down to the floor or blocks. If your knee is feeling compressed, you can always take your foot and flip the toes. That will help relieve some of that pressure. But allow your hips to kind of sink forward. You're opening up the inside of the hip and leg, front side. And allow the belly to kind of lift and roll back. A little bit of a back bend in this pose. Feel your hips sink a little bit with each breath, and think in terms of yin, a little bit is millimeters. Remembering to keep that slow, late summer feeling. Everything slowed down, your breath, your movement, your thoughts. Remembering that earth is slow and stable. Feeling that, connecting to that feeling, everything slowing down just a little bit. Becoming more grounded, more stable. Softening into the earth. Gently starting to take your hands down to the floor, very slowly stepping that right knee back. And coming into downward facing dog. So palms down, feet down, lift the hips. Maybe walk your dog out a few steps. Rock the hips a little bit side to side. Moving super slow. And then coming back down, both knees on the blanket. Coming upright, stepping that left leg out, switching sides here. So fingers down, lift that back knee, drop it down and pull a little bit, kind of drag the knee to you so you end up on the top side of the kneecap instead of directly on the kneecap. You can keep your hands down if that's better for you, or go ahead and take that left hand and the right hand on top on that left thigh. Feeling yourself sink, kind of feel the belly shifting a little bit forward, a little bit of a rounding for the back bend. Checking in to feel how this side may feel very different than the first side. Maybe it's easier, maybe this side is a little bit more restricted. Feeling your hips settle, your pelvis settle. Slowing the breath. Feeling as you hold this pose longer and longer, all the different things that you begin to sense. Shifts in your emotions, shifts in your physical body, shifts in where you feel this pose, and shifts in your breath. Very gently take those hands down to the floor, moving super slow. Step that left knee back. Go ahead and take your palms flat, shift back into downward facing dog here. Bending one knee and then the other. Or even just staying in downward facing dog, shaking your head out yes and no. Exploring what sensations occur after the pose is over. That rebound effect. And then coming back down onto your hands and knees, you're going to take that blanket off to the side. And come onto your left side for cat pulling its tail. So we're going to take that left arm out to the side, palm up. You're going to shift that left leg back behind you. Grab hold of it with your right fingers, sorry. That would be hard to get your right foot to grab your left foot, right? If you can't reach that foot, reach back for it, or you can take a strap or a belt and pull that towards you. You're going to press into that foot so it kind of opens the shoulder too. Now here you can stack the shoulders one on top of each other, or you can start to roll that right shoulder back, take that right leg out straight in front of you or knee bent, whatever feels best for you. And try to head that left foot down toward the floor. So you have the security and stability of the floor here. Sometimes a challenging pose like this pose can make your breath become a little bit more shallow and restricted. Focus on breathing that 3-part breath, extending that exhale. Allowing the pose to just happen for you. Just about one more minute here. Really settling into these last few breaths in this pose. Gently release whatever hold you have on that foot. Let it unwind. Unwind yourself and come to lie on your back. Take your feet out wide, arms out wide. Just feel the rebound effect, how your body feels after the pose, all the sensations. Maybe feeling a shift in your energy or your breath. Moving to our second side. Roll over a little bit to your right. Take that right arm out to the right. Shift that left leg back behind you. Now one leg may be harder than the other. It is for me on this side. Lift that left leg out. Here again, you can bend the top knee or straighten it. Let the shoulder roll back. Put a little bit of pulling that foot away from, so you don't have to pull it as close to your hip as possible. Opening your shoulder, your chest. Turning to look straight up or over your left shoulder. It's often interesting to sort of sense what's happening at the very beginning of a pose and then to check back toward the end of a pose. See what it feels like at the end, where you may be feeling things differently. Last few breaths here, checking in. How has this side been compared to the first side? Where do you feel this? How is your breath? Gently releasing whatever hold you have on that foot. Slowly rolling yourself back onto your back. Arms out to the side, heels out to the corners of the mat. Allowing the body to settle into the floor. here, taking some really full, deep, rich breaths. Rocking your head side to side a time or two. Very slowly bending your knees, taking your feet as wide as the mat, or even a little bit wider. Arms out to the side, palms up. Just start to windshield wiper very gently, side to side. Almost as if you're a flower kind of moving in the very slow, warm summer day breeze. And then when you next get over to the left, go ahead and just drop those knees over to the left. Lift your head and turn and look over your right shoulder. You can remain here, but if you want to go somewhere else with this, you can take that left heel on top of that right thigh for a little bit more twist to this pose, or just leave it as it was. Feeling your legs get heavy toward the floor, letting gravity kind of pull them instead of forcing them to go there. Just a few more deep breaths. Turn your head back to center. Very slowly pull those knees back through the middle. Come back to that very gentle sort of waving motion. And then when you next get over to the right, go ahead and drop those knees over to the right. Just letting them rest there, or taking that right heel on top of the left thigh, lifting your head and turning and look over the left shoulder. Feeling your breath settle and the exhale extend even longer. Last deep breath. Inhale, turn your head back to center. Pull those knees back through the middle. Very gentle windshield wiper here. Slowing down. Savoring that late summer. And then either dropping the knees together, keeping those feet wide, taking your hands to your belly. Or you can stretch those heels out to the corners of the mat. Gently rock your shoulder blades underneath for Shavasana. Feel your body connected to the earth, supported by the earth. Feel your breath slower, softer. And feel everything continue to settle. With each breath, imagine becoming softer and more settled and grounded. Relaxing all the tension, releasing all the tightness. Almost as if you were sitting under a nice warm sun and everything just kind of, tension and stress just melted away. Continuing to soften and ground. Our true heritage. The cosmos is filled with precious gems. I want to offer a handful of them to you this morning. Each moment you are alive is a gem, shining through and containing earth and sky, water and clouds. It needs you to breathe gently for the miracles to be displayed. Suddenly you hear the birds singing, the pines chanting, see the flowers blooming, the blue sky, the white clouds, the smile and the marvelous look of your beloved. You, the richest person on earth, who have been going around begging for a living, stop being the destitute child. Come back and claim your heritage. We should enjoy our happiness and offer it to everyone. Cherish this very moment. Let go of the stream of distress and embrace life fully in your arms. On your next inhale, take your arms up overhead and stretch through your fingertips, stretch through your toes, lengthen your spine. On your exhale, softly roll over to your side. Whenever you are ready, press yourself up into whatever seated position you like best. Keeping your eyes closed or open, hands palms up or palms down onto your knees. Settle into the ground and feel that grounding, that earth below, connecting to that slow moving, that late summer, slowing down a little. On your next exhale, drop those fingertips down to the ground. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up. Open your eyes, look up at your palms. Exhale, hands to heart. Peace and namaste. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me. I hope you enjoyed it. May your late summer experience be filled with just a little bit of slowing down before that rush of the end of the year always happens. This is that sweet pre-harvest fulfillment, everything at the peak warm time. And it's a time you can really take inside of you and kind of hold that to you. Just slow down a little bit. If you enjoyed this practice, please like and comment down below. And also, if you're not a subscriber, I upload a new video every single Thursday morning, bright and early, so you can click that subscribe button down to your right side. And if you're looking for more practices like this or would like to deepen your practice experience with me, please join me online at theyogaranger.vhx.tv. The link is up above and down below. Would love to have you join that membership community. We have a community forum, a very active Facebook group, live calls each month, and a new video every single month there as well. Also include the YouTube videos on there without ads, so you get a little bit of both worlds each week. I would love to see you there. Join our community, take a look, and have a wonderful week.